that when he came at that time, Ramananda Rai also was coming with his all, because he was the minister there. So he was a king there, a kind of jamindar kind of thing, So he came with the all on a palanquin with all the music and everything. All the brahmanas were with him. Many brahmanas were with him, and then he came to take the bath in the river Godavari, because that was the very holy river there in the southern India. It's known as Ganges of the south. So when he came there at that place, Ramanand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he is the Supreme Lord, he immediately after seeing him knew that this is Ramanand Rai. And Ramanand Rai also saw the sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He saw and he was seeing him many times because he was so attractive. Krishna is most attractive, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and Radha combined together. So he was so attracting to him that he was looking at him many times, and ultimately he came close to him. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "Are you Ramanand Rai?" And he said, "Yes, I'm Ramanand Rai. I'm your servant." And then they started talking, and then they have a lot of discussion about the Shastras, and all started from Varnashram and Karmakandi, and then later on to the Parakrashta of the devotional service, the Gopi Bhav. And so everything was discussed, and that's why this chapter is most important chapter of all the chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Is very high, condensed philosophy in a small, short version of our whole philosophy, which is all based, and the best bhakti is the gopi. Bhaktis of the gopis, how they were without any purpose, they will be ready to do anything for Krishna. So that should be the mood of a devotee, that how devotee is not like, oh, if Krishna, many times we see, if Krishna gives me this, I will do this for him, like that, so it's not business exchange. They, like, we all have heard a story that when Krishna had a headache, gopis were say we can go, willing to give. Nobody gave the dust of their feet to Krishna. He said, no, I will get lot of papa karma with this. But gopis said, doesn't matter. We may go to hell for millions of lifetime, but if it helps Krishna even for 1 second, if he had this goes away, our life will be successful. So that was the mood of gopis. So they did not care about what will happen to them. So let me, before I start today's class, I will read the first verse and the third verse, second verse and fifth verse, because they are the glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I would like to glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu this way. So Sancharth Ramabhida Bhakta Medhe Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani Gaurandhitera Munavi Vitarnes Tajak Tajagatvaratnalayamta Prayati. The translation given by Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is known as Gauranga, is the ocean of all conclusive knowledge in devotional service. He empowered Sri Ramananda Rai, who may be likened to a cloud of devotional service. This cloud was filled with the water of all the conclusive purpose of devotional service, and was empowered by the ocean to spread this water over the sea of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Thus, the ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became filled with the jewels of knowledge of pure devotional service. Verse number 2. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now I will just read verse number 5, and then we will go to verse number 25. Verse number 5. Shri Narsimha Jaya Narsimha Jaya Jaya Narsimha Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. All glories to Narasimhadev. All glories to Narasimhadev, who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj. And like a honeybee, is always engaged in beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. So I think last time we finished 24th verse, so today we will start from 25th. So Prahlad Prabhu is here. No, so I will read myself then. Verse number 25. देखिया ब्राह्मण गणेर हेल चमत्कार वैदिक ब्राह्मण सब करे न विचार. Translation. Here, when the stereotyped ritualistic brahmanas who were following the Vedic principles saw this aesthetic manifestation of love, they were struck with wonder. All these brahmanas began to reflect as follows. So we read last week that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, and then he embraced each other, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Raj, then what happened? Actually, they went in the aesthetic symptoms, and those aesthetic symptoms actually were seen by all the brahmanas, and like the aesthetic symptoms like paralysis and perspiration, tears, shivering, palpitation, paleness, all these, and hair were standing at the end. So these are the main symptoms of ecstatic love. So these all appeared in both of them, and they both were almost like passed out, and they were saying Krishna, 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 Krishna. So all the brahmanas which were there at the Godavari river's bank, and most of them came with Ramanand Rai in, when he came to take bath there in the Godavari river. So all the brahmanas came there like that, and when they saw this, they were wondering why this sannyasi, who is so elevated, why he's embracing a Shudra, because Ramanand Rai was from the Shudra class, fourth class, the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So he was in that class, the last class of the classification. So, but he was a great devotee, nobody knew like that. So when they embraced in Chaitanya, so they were wondering actually. So here it says that when the stereotyped ritualistic Brahman were following the Vedic principles, saw the aesthetic manifestation of love, they were struck with wonder. They were actually saw that the Brahmins, they knew that these are the sign of great love for Krishna. So how come they have so much love for Krishna, and they were wondered with struck with wonder that what is happening here, and all the brahmanas started talking about that in this way. So we will read that in the text number 26. Somebody knows Bengali, or I can continue? Okay. Ait sannyasira tej dekhi brahma sam shudre alingiya kene karena krandan. These brahmanas began to think, we can see that this sannyasi has a luster like the effulgence of a brahmana. But how it is, he is crying upon embracing a Shudra, a member of the fourth caste in the social order. So the Brahman were thinking that this sannyasi, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very beautiful and there was effulgence from his body, all the Brahmanas can see that. So they see that he has so much effulgence of a Brahman. Brahman means, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan, that's like Supreme Lords, he looked like that. So they were seeing that, and he was crying when he embraced the Ramanand Rai. So he said, why it is that, who Ramanand Rai, who is the member of the fourth class, very low grade person, So although he was in the position of a big position, but he was the governor of Madras, whole province. He was the governor. So, but they were wondering, why this sannyasi is embracing him and why he's in so much happiness. That was wondering them. Verse number 27. यही महाराज महापंडित गंभीर सन्यासी स्पर्शे मत हाइला अस्थिर. They thought this Ramananda Rai is the governor of Madras, a highly learned and grave person, a Mahapandit. But upon touching this sannyasi, he has become restless like a madman. So they knew that Ramananda Rai was the governor of Madras and he is a very intelligent person, Mahapandit. But they could not understand that by touching this sannyasi, why he became so restless, like a madman, like a pagal admi, why he is behaving like this now, and why saying Krishna, Krishna like that, and why he became so much unconscious just by touching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they were wondering. They didn't know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Ramanand Rai was in ecstatic love of Krishna. That's why it was happening, because ordinary people will not know about the great souls, what they are doing. It's beyond their capability to think even that what is going on like that. Verse number 28. यही मत विप्रगण भावे मने मन विजातीय लोक देखी प्रभु केल संवरण. While the Brahmins were thinking in this way about activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Rai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Brahmanas and restrained his transcendental emotions. Purport: Ramanand Rai was intimately related to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, therefore he can be accepted as Sajatiya, a person within the intimate circle of the Lord. The Brahmins, however, were followers of Vedic rituals and were not able to have an intimate connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Consequently, they are called Vijatiya Lok. In other words, they were not pure devotees. One may be a highly learned Brahman, but if he is not a pure devotee, he is a Vijatiya, an outcast, one outside the devotional service. In other words, a non-devotee. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Rai were embracing in ecstasy, the Lord restrained his transcendental emotions upon seeing the outside Brahmans. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Brahmins were looking and thinking and talking, whispering about this, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to consciousness, and he didn't wanted to make them wonder, what is going on, and he didn't wanted to show the static symptoms. Static symptoms are not for showing anybody that I love Krishna so much. So people should not show these symptoms in front of other people, and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awakened more from his ecstatic love. Because see, Ramanand Rai, we read in the previous verses that he was Vishaka Shaki. So Vishaka Saki's intimate is one of the main gopis of Radharani. Lalita and Vishaka, these are left and right hand of Radharani. They serve her all the time. So Lalita Saki became Ramanand. Vishaka Saki became Ramanand Rai, and Lalita Saki became the what is his name? Sarup Damodar Maharaj Goswami. So Sarup Damodar became the Lalita Sakhi, and in the Ramananda Rai, Vishaka Sakhi became Ramananda Rai in Chaitanya Lila. So these were the, so there was connection between that. That's why it is said that they were, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai were Swajati. They were from the same system, they were all, both were great devotees, Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, he was the Supreme Lord, but he acted as a devotee there, here. And that's why these Brahmanas who were watching them, they were Vijati. Vijati means from outcast or from different caste. They were not in the same caste as devotees, So they were not pure devotees, but they were highly learned Brahmins. And so many came with Ramananda Rai. So, and they were all watching. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up from his ecstatic love. Next verse number 29. सुस्त हुआ दुहे से स्थानेत वसीला तबे हासी महाप्रभु कहिते लागिला. When they regained their sanity, they both sat down, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to smile and speak as follows. So when they came to their consciousness, full consciousness, they sat down because they became unconscious and fell down actually on the ground. So that's why they sat down, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began to smile a little bit, and he was speaking to Raman Rai as follows. So which is in the next verse number 30. सर्वभौम भट्टाचार्य कहिला तुम्हारा गुणे तुम्हारे मिलिते मोर करिला यतने. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has spoken of your good qualities, and he has made a great endeavor to convince me to meet you. So here we can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has spoken of your good qualities of Raman Rai, and he has made so great endeavor to convince me to meet you. So he is telling to Ramananda Rai that I'm meeting you because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually told me about all your good qualities, and he requested me, and he made so much endeavor to convince me that I must meet Ramananda Rai. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Verse number 31. तोमा मिली बारे मोर यथा आगमन भाल हेल anayase pailum darshan. Indeed, I have come here just to meet you. It is very good that even without making an effort, I have gotten your interview here. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that indeed, I have come here just to meet you. That just for the sake of meeting you, I came here. And it is very nice that I didn't try made any effort to meet you. But suddenly, I was just passing by and I saw you. Your whole palanquin and all the brahmanas and everything I saw. So I knew that this is Ramananda Rai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, without making any effort, I can see you. I have got your interview here. So then they started talking more. So we will read from next verse 32. राय कहे सर्वभौम सर्वभौम करे भक्त्यगान परोक्षेह मोर हिते हय सावधान. Ramanand Rai replied, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thinks of me as his servant. Even in my absence, he is very careful to do me good. So this is the quality of the well-wisher. well-wisher all the time think good of other person. So he's saying that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thinks of me as his servant. I am his servant, and he thinks, and all the time he wants my good. So because of that, actually, he is very careful, and he's doing good to me. And just to do good to me, he requested you to meet me. Otherwise, I do not have that kind of luck, to see you in person. But you came here. That's great. So that's why he's actually thanking Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai was thanking Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and thanking him and thanking the Lord to come and meeting him there. Next verse. Verse number 33. कार कृपाय पाइनु तुम्हारा दर्शन आजी सफल हैल मोर मनुष्य जन्म. By his mercy, I have received your interview here. Consequently, I consider that today I have become a successful human being. आजी सफल हैल मोर मनुष्य जन्म. This Manushya Janma, my birth as a human being, became very successful after doing your darshan. So he's thinking that I'm so lucky to have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And why this happened? Because of mercy of the Ramanand Rai. Because his mercy only, because he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go and see Ramanand Rai. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there. So he's saying by his mercy only, I received this chance to meet you here. And he's saying that my life is very successful now. Today is very great day in my life that I made so great personality like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse number 34. सर्वभौम तुम्हार कृपा तार ए चिन्ह अस्पर्श स्पर्शिले हया तोर प्रेमाधीन. I can see that you have bestowed special mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Therefore, you have touched me, although I am untouchable. This is due only to his love for you. He's saying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda is telling to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I can see you, that you have bestowed special mercy by embracing Sarvam Ramananda Rai. So, and upon request of Sarvam Bhattacharya. So he's saying that therefore he touched, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched Ramananda Rai because of request of Sarvam Bhattacharya. And he said, although I'm untouchable, I'm from the fourth class of human, so this lowest of the human. So that's why Shudras were thinking, society was thinking them in the previous days as untouchable. They will not touch. Sometime in the small villages, that they will go with the water, or if the Brahman sees them, they have to go to Ganges and take shower and bath again. So this was their condition, that they were seen with very lowly, that was the problem at that time. So even I have seen myself these things in small villages 50, 60, 70 years ago. So at that time, like 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on this earth, it was very strictly followed, that the Shudra should not, they cannot sit with them, they cannot be invited in any functions or yagya or anything. They were not given entry in the temples. They cannot go and fetch the water from a well. So they were all restricted. Even if they are seen in front of Jagannath temple, they will be thrown out like that, because they can touch the pujaris there. And when the pujari touched on a untouchable person, it is very bad. They have to go and take shower again and prepare everything again. So they were very strict rules at that time. That's why Ramananda Rai was actually wondering, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is so great sannyasi, and he is touching me. And he said this all happened because of the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is my well-wisher. So verse number 35. कहा तुम्हें साक्षात ईश्वर नारायण कहा मुई राजसेवी विषय सुद्राधन. So he is actually telling something about him, that I am very low caste person, and your position and my position are very different. And he is telling that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thinks of me as his servant and does me good even in my absence. Sometimes, people are in front of somebody, then they will say, do this to him, do this to him. But even in his absence, somebody does good to you, that's a greater thing. So he's saying the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, even in my absence, he's requesting you to meet me. That's a great thing, that he's my real well-wisher. And he says that by his mercy only I got darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and my human birth has become successful now. And he's saying that you showered special mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And because of that, you touched me, although I am untouchable. So, in the verse number 35, which we are reading now, he is presenting his low position. He is saying, I am only a government servant, Raja Sevi. So, there are 3-4 words here in this verse. Kaha mui Raja Sevi. Then he says Vishayi and Shudra Dham. These 3 words he is saying. So, Raja Sevi means I am the only a government servant. No big thing. Interested in materialistic activities, Vishayi, like enjoyer. So I just want to enjoy these material opulences and material things, Although he was a great devotee, was Vishaka Sakhi herself. So, but still, see how the great devotees think about them so lowly, that I'm nothing. Tranadapi Sunechena, Tarorapi Saishtuna, Amani Namani Dena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So that was the actually mood of the great devotees. So we can see here Ramanand Rai is actually showing these great devotees symptoms, how they should behave. Because sometimes when we become big devotee, we think I'm so great, and we talk big things about us, So there is no humbleness actually in that. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that we should make a garland after Nanda Pisonechana Shlok, you should write down on pages, cut it, and just make a garland and put it on our neck, and always keep it there, don't take it out. So we have those symptoms always 24/7. So then that will be great. And he's saying, Shudra Dhamma, I am among the Shudras also. I am the lowest. So I'm lowest among the Shudras. So these are the things how Ramananda is thinking of himself and telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us read the next shlok. He is telling that you are Kaha Tumi Shakshat Ishwar Narayan. You are the Shakshat Narayan. So Ramananda Rai actually knew that he is the Supreme Lord himself. And where I am, whom you are embracing, I am the government servant. I am very lowly. And so he's telling the greatness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his own low position. Next shlok number 36. More sparsh na karile घृणा वेद भय मोर darshan toma vede nishedhaya. You do not fear the Vedic injunctions stating that you should not associate with a Shudra. You were not contemptuous of my touch, although in the Vedas you are forbidden to associate with Shudras. So Ramananda is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are not afraid of the Vedic injunctions, that which says that one should not associate with Sudras. Because when a person becomes a devotee, when a Shudra becomes a devotee, he's the great person. He's not untouchable, and so anybody can touch them. But he's saying that in the Vedas it is forbidden completely to even associate with the Sudras, even seeing the Shudra, even touching the Shudra. So these all our activities are forbidden. So he say, and you are touching me when I'm Shudra like that. So in the purport, Sri Prabhupada made very nice purport that whatever Ramananda Rai was saying was not true actually. And in the next verse we have long purport, so we will read that. It's very nice purport. So we will read this purport and then try to learn what Sri Prabhupada is trying to tell us. In Bhagavad Gita 9:32, Lord says, Mami Parth Vipashritya Yepi Siyuh Papayonayah Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. So Krishna is saying here, O son of Parth, O Arjun, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishya, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. So we say that even though who take shelter of Lord Krishna, they actually, although they may be from lower birth, so who are the people of lower birth? Krishna says here, woman, Istri, and Vaishya, and Shudras. So these are the lower birth. They are considered lower birth in the Shastras, can approach the Supreme. They also, once they become devotee, take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, they can become the devotees. So the word Papa Yoniya means, in the second line it says, Yepi Shacha Papa Yoniya. So Papa Yoniya means born of lower caste woman. The Vaishyas are merchants, and the Shudras are the workers or servants. According to Vedic classification, they belong to the lower social order. A low life means a life without Krishna consciousness. High and low positions in the society are calculated by considering a person's Krishna consciousness. So this is the main thing that we should consider Krishna's his one person's Krishna consciousness, like rather than saying what kind of birth it is. It is Shudra. He took the from a Shudra woman birth like that. It should not be considered. Actually, it should be considered on what level of Krishna consciousness one may be. One may be very, very elevated soul. So at that time, we should not consider his caste or anything. Actually, his great personality. A Brahman is considered to be on the high platform because he knows the Brahman. Brahma janati iti Brahmana. So if somebody knows about the Brahman, which is the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, they are all different swarups of the same Lord. Actually, it's just realization. Somebody realizes Brahman, somebody realizes Paramatma, and like Gyanis and the mystic yogis, and the devotees actually try to see Bhagavan. They pray to Bhagavan. So he's saying that the Brahmins actually are considered that they are on a high platform. The second caste is Kshatriya. They also know the Brahman, but not as well as the Brahman. So they know Brahman, but they do not know about the Lord like what the Brahmans know. And the Vaishya and Shudra do not clearly understand the God consciousness. So normally Vaishya and Shudra caste, those people, they do not understand God consciousness, what is Krishna and what is there. So, but if they take the Krishna consciousness, if those people also, Vaishya and Shudras, if they take the Krishna, they follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, and by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. So this thing, Ahetu Kripa of the Guru, enough Lord has to be there. Then they can become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, it's not possible for anybody. Whatever social order they may have, but if they have the Hetu Kripa, then only by their Kripa also, only one can become devotee. We all came by some devotee's Kripa actually. Otherwise, we will not be in Krishna consciousness. Everyone came through the Kripa of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, it's very hard. Nobody can become a devotee or even think about the Lord, because we all live in the Kali Yuga, and this age is very not favorable actually for Krishna consciousness. But those who are remembering Krishna all the time, their life is most successful. But if they take Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master, they do not remain in the lower caste, Papa Yoniya. It is clearly stated, Tepi yanti param gatim. Unless one has attained the highest standard of life, one cannot return home back to Godhead. So we have to attain this highest Krishna consciousness. Then only we can return home to the Vaikuntha Lok, back to Godhead. One may be Shudra, Vaishya, or a woman, but if he is situated in the service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he should not be considered Istri, Shudra, Vaishya, or one of the lower than the Shudra. Many people even the lower than the Shudra, like dog eaters and those people. So actually, if they become Krishna conscious, some or the other, even the dog eater, they should be considered on very high position. They should never be considered to belong to a lower family. The Padma Puran says, it actually Padma Purana forbids Vikshate Jati Samanyat Sayati Narakam Dhruvam. A person goes to hell quickly when he considers a devotee of the Lord in terms of his birth. If somebody thinks that this devotee is Shudra devotee, or this devotee is Vaishya devotee, or he is a Brahman devotee, or Kshatriya devotee, so he should not think about this, about the devotees, because devotees are all under the shelter of Krishna. So they are not simple human being, and they should not be considered on the level of their birth. They should be considered a great sage. So person goes to, if somebody thinks that way about a devotee, that he is a Shudra, then he goes to hell very quickly. Although Ramananda Rai is supposed to took birth in the Shudra family, he is not to be considered a Shudra, for he was a great advanced devotee. Indeed, he was on the transcendental platform. So that's actually great. Sri Ramananda Rai presented himself as Shudra Rajasevi Vishayi, and Shudra Dhamma. Even though one may engage in the government service or in any other pound, shilling, pence business. Pound, shilling, pence means rupiah paisa, like that. So any kind of business he's doing, or he may be Shudra, but if he's Krishna conscious, then we should not think that he needs only to take Krishna consciousness. Then people should not think about that. Krishna consciousness is a very simple process. See, Prabhupada all the time says Krishna consciousness is very simple. Take prasadam, chant Hare Krishna, dance, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and that's it. It's very easy. But Krishna consciousness is very difficult for a crooked person. So that's true actually. And Prabhupada said in many of his classes that Krishna consciousness is so simple and so easy, and he's so sublime that anybody can follow that. Any caste, anybody, doesn't matter actually. Krishna consciousness is a very simple process. One need only chant the holy names of Lord and strictly follow the principles of forbidden sinful activities. So a devotee, that's why when we take initiation, we promise all the 4 rules and regulations: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex. So like that, anything forbidden for a devotee, those forbidden activities one should not do. One who is advanced in the spiritual life should not associate with non-devotee. So that's a very important thing actually for all of us, that people who are non-devotees, actually we should not associate with him. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually told all of us that we can go for book distribution, telling, not taking their philosophy, but give our philosophy to them. That what is Krishna consciousness, how one can attain Krishna consciousness, or how one can remember Krishna. So that's why actually devotees, sannyasis also used to go in the olden days to somebody's house, not for food actually, but they were going there only to give them Krishna's name, be merciful to them. So that's why they used to go. Otherwise, why the persons like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami will go and beg to the people's house? Actually, they were great person, and Krishna will feed them. They knew, they had so great faith in Krishna. And we have seen that even Radharani and Lord Krishna themselves, like Lord Krishna himself, actually, when Madhava Puri was very hungry, those great souls actually were going to 1 or 2 houses. If they don't get anything, they will knock the door. If somebody is not there, they will go to second door. That's it. After that, they will just sit down in one place. If they didn't get any food, they said that's a Krishna's will. They will just sit down, remain hungry. It's not like they were behind food, behind prasadam. And then Krishna actually, sitting in their heart, they knew that this devotee didn't get the prasadam, he will come with the food, milk or something, and give to the person. So Krishna arranges that, and we have seen example of Madhavendra Puri, that Krishna came and gave him the pot of milk, and it was so nectarian milk, and he immediately knew. And then he left the pot there, and he said, I will come and collect it later on. And later on, he never showed up. And then Madhavendra Puri knew that this is the Krishna himself. Similarly, when Rupa Goswami thought about Sanatana Goswami's a nice, beautiful kheer, because Sanatana Goswami had his birthday. So on his appearance day, actually, he wanted to make very nice, sweet kheer. And he didn't have any ingredient or anything, but Radharani herself came and gave all the ingredient and actually made the nice kheer. And when Sanatana Goswami came and they both ate, and he said, where you got the kheer from? And he said that one small girl from the local town came and she gave me a pot of kheer. And then immediately they both knew that this is Radharani only, nobody else. And they actually, not just they ate the kheer, but they ate even the pot, the matki, parts of matki. They broke it in small, small pieces, and every day they will eat little bit of that dust from that, the small particles of the mitti from that pot, because that pot was touched by Radharani, brought by Radharani. So it is from the spiritual world, so they were enjoying that like a nectar. So this is the greatness of the great devotees, and Krishna takes care of them like that. So even though one may be engaged in the government service or any other pound, shilling, pence, business, in short, in material life, he need only to take Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a very simple process. One need only chant the holy names of Lord and strictly follow the principles for forbidding sinful activities. In this way, one can no longer be considered a untouchable, a Vishayi, or a Shudra. One who is advanced in the spiritual life should not associate with non-devotees, namely men in the government service or men engaged in materialistic activity for sense gratification or in the service of others. Such men are considered Vishay, materialistic. So one should not associate with these kind of people who are doing the government service. Nowadays in India, if you see, everybody is in government service, most of them. So what to do, whether to meet them or not. But if they are Krishna conscious, or at least favorable to Krishna conscious, then we can meet them and give them Krishna, rather than taking their philosophy. Or people who are grossly in the gross sense of gratification, we should not actually meet them. They are Vishayi people, and we should not visit them. So it is said that Nishkanchanasya Bhagvat Bhajanonmukhasya Param Param Jigamesho Bhavasagarasya Sandarshanam Vishayin Amat Yoshitancha Ha Hanta Hanta Vishabhakshanato Pi Asadhu. A person who is very seriously engaged in cultivating devotional service with the view of crossing the ocean of nescience, and who was completely abandoned all material activities, should never see a Shudra Vishayi or a woman. Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak 823. So this verse is taken from Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak, and it says that any person who seriously engaged in cultivating devotional service, who is performing devotional service nicely and taking Krishna consciousness very seriously and thinking all the time about how I can cross this Bhav this material world with so much ignorance, how I can cross it, then he should actually abandon all materialistic activity, and he should never see a Shudra or Vishayi or a woman. Then his life will be successful. Otherwise, this will drag him down in the materialistic life again. So that's why these things are forbidden. So in the next verse, Ramananda is saying, तुम्हारा कृपा तुम्हारा कृपाय तुम्हारा कराय निंद कर्म साक्षात ईश्वर तुम्ही के जाने तुम्हार मर्म. You are the supreme personality of Godhead himself. Therefore, no one can understand your purpose. By your mercy, you are touching me. Although this is not you are touching me, although this is not sanctioned by the Vedas. So in the Veda, actually, to touch a untouchable or Shudra is forbidden actually. So here, Ramananda is telling to Lord Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are the supreme personality of Godhead yourself, and therefore no one can understand your purpose. Actually, to the Supreme Lords and all his activities, it's very hard. Unless you are a great devotee, you will not understand what Krishna's activities are. So, and the purpose behind this all, many times we think, Krishna is not doing anything for me, but behind the scene, Krishna is doing so many things for all of us actually. Everything is provided by Krishna. If we see that even the oxygen, the water, the food, or our house, any ingredient in the what we use in the house, it all are given by the Krishna to us. Any simple thing even. Because one time, one scientist, he was very proud. He said that, okay, I can whatever Krishna is giving, I can make in the laboratory. He tried to make water. He tried to make a house for himself. So he made the water by combining oxygen and everything. And later on, he started making house with the mud from the nearby river. So Krishna came and told that, you why don't you make your own mud? And he was unable to make cement or mud or anything, because this ingredient, all the things are made by Krishna. So then he thought that he's right actually, that he cannot make everything. Everything is provided. Even the rock scientists say that we make this thing, why we invented this thing. But if you see all the ingredients, they are made by Krishna. Where they got it from? The plastic is made of this and this thing, but where those things are? Can the scientists make those things? They cannot actually. So that's why actually, and who gives us intelligence even to make that thing? That intelligence also comes from Krishna. So we should be thankful to Krishna for giving everything like that to us. So a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to see a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to see a Vaishya or materialistic people. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of his boundless mercy and causeless mercy, could show favor to anyone regardless of his birth or position. So nobody can restrict Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He can be merciful to anybody, anywhere. So there is no boundary for this his causeless mercy. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. So he is the most merciful of any Lord, actually, any Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Lord Krishna came in different forms, different incarnation, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance was not incarnation. He is the Krishna himself, and he has no boundary to his mercy. So he gives love of Godhead completely free of charge. As long as you have jigyasa, you have the lalach to get that, you have the greed for that love, then that love is for free. So next verse is 38. Let me read that. आत्मा निरस्तारी थे तुम्हारे यहाँ आगमन परम दयालु तुम्ही पतित पावन. You have come here especially to deliver me. You are so merciful that you alone can deliver all fallen souls. So here we can see that Ramananda is telling that you especially came here to deliver me, and you are so merciful that you alone can deliver all the fallen souls. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so much mercy that he can deliver he can take everybody, all of us actually, from this material world to spiritual world. He has that power. But because we want to enjoy this material world, that's why he said that, okay, you stay here, not here. Later on, you will learn some lesson, then I will take you. So ultimately, Krishna is going to take all of us, but it may take many births time. So in the purport, Chaitanya, Sri Prabhupada is writing very nice shloka, very nice verses from Narottam Das Thakur's songs, which is from the Prarthana. So if you see, the Bhakti Vinod Thakur actually said, like somebody asked him, how much is the cost of getting Krishna Prem? So Bhakti Vinod Thakur said that 2 paisa only, 2 paisa. So what he said, why 2 paisas? Because he said you buy the 2 books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika, written by Narottam Das Thakur, and you will, if you read them, follow seriously, you can get love of God ultimately. So these books, written by Narottam Das Thakur is so important, so great that we should read. So, and we sing the songs from these books all the time. So Prabhupada has written here, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More, Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Sansare, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara, Mosama Patita Prabhu Na Pai Beara. My dear Lord, please be merciful to me. Who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these 3 words? You appear as an incarnation just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls. But I assure you that you will not find a soul more fallen than me. So you can see here Narottam Das Thakur's humbleness, what he's saying that, oh my dear Lord, be merciful to me. He says, and who can be more merciful than your Lordship? In all these 3 words. And he says, what is the purpose of your coming here? To reclaim the conditioned souls. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to reclaim the souls back to Godhead. But And he said that I am so fallen that there may not be even any person more fallen than me. So this is the consciousness of a devotee. So pure devotees thinks them so lowly, so fallen. Like one time, Narad Muni sent Yudhishthira Maharaj and Drona Duryodhan that go to Duryodhan. He said, find a better person than you, very nice, good person. And then to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he said, go and find a most fallen soul. So they both went. Yudhishthira Maharaj went to look around, look around. He could not find anybody. He was so great, but he said that nobody fallen than me. And when Duryodhan went, he saw everybody, but he thought, that I'm better than this, I'm better than this, I'm better than this. So he could not find anybody better than himself. So when they came and told that I could not find anybody better than me, then he knew that this is Duryodhan, and that's his thinking. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj, who was so great devotee of the Supreme Lord, he said that there is no fallen person than me. So Narottam Das Thakur is showing the same kind of humility here, that nobody is fallen than me. I assure you that you will not find a soul more fallen than me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's specific mission is to deliver fallen souls. Of course, in this age of Kali, there are hardly anyone who is not fallen, according to calculations of Vedic behavior. If we read the Vedic injunctions and see, then according to that, everybody in this Kali Yuga will be fallen. But still, Krishna is so merciful that he has given us chance to serve him. In his instruction to Rup Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the so-called followers of Vedic religion in this way in the Madhya Lila 19:146. So he says, Ved Nishtra Madhya Ardhek Ved Mukhe Mane Ved Nishiddha Papa Kare Dharma Nahi Gane. So-called followers of Vedic principles simply accept the Vedas formally, but they act against the Vedic principles. This is the symptomatic of this age of Kali. People claim to follow certain types of religion, saying formally, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I am this, I am that. But actually, no one follows the principles enunciated in the religious scriptures. This is the disease of this age. However, the merciful Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has simply advised us to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This Maha Mantra. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatir Anyatha. The Lord can deliver anyone and everyone, even though one may have fallen from the injunctions of the revealed scripture. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy. Consequently, he is known as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of all fallen souls. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation was especially to deliver all the fallen souls from this material world. And that's why he gave us the formula of Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam, that there is no other way, no other way, no other way than chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So if we follow these principles in our life will be very successful. So time is up now. There are only 1 minute left. So I will end here. Anybody has any questions, comments, or criticism or anything? If I made any mistake, please excuse me and let me know so I can correct that mistake. So, Hare Krishna, you can have any comment or anything now.
Thank you very much, Kaivalya Prabhu. A wonderful class. This is a very nice Leela with the Lord and Ramananda Roy, and some very important points. It's the last point you were making about people, they may be attached to their religious views, but not necessarily following the principles. a person coming from a Hindu family may think, okay, I'm a Brahmin, I have to act like this. I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Vaishya, I'm a Sudra, and they interact on the bodily levels.
Yeah.
How do we, in general, how do we preach this message that Lord Chaitanya is teaching to Ramananda Roy? What would be your suggestions on how to, explain this to people that we meet, newcomers that come to the temple? So to be able to share Lord Chaitanya's mood that he's sharing with Ramananda Roy.
Yeah, if he's favorable, actually, like so many people come and we don't ask them what caste they are, because caste doesn't, these are the social castes, they do not mean that they can be devotee or not devotee. If somebody, everybody actually, when they come to temple and they have at least some shraddha in the temple on the Lord, that so they are little favorable, but by producing the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita or our philosophy, which is given by Srila Prabhupada, they can, many people come for prasadam, but eating prasadam also, their heart will become slowly, slowly favorable to Krishna. This is, and by devotees' mercy on them, they can become great souls, actually, great devotees. So we should try for everybody who comes to temple or even we meet in the street, try not seeing their caste, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed and he showed in the Kali Yuga what we had to do rather than seeing the caste, his Vaishya or Shudra or his Brahman or Kshatriya, seeing this social caste, we should just, without thinking about them, we should give them name of Krishna. But if he's too much sense purifier or anything, he will not take it. But at least we should try on everybody. We should give book to everybody. And we do not know how the mercy, Krishna's mercy comes, Sometimes they may be very frustrated from their life and they may open the book and read and see and become Krishna conscious. And they can come to temple and join or at least follow the principles of Krishna consciousness. So we never know. Many, many people became devotees like that. And we do not know actually when they can get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Anybody can get his mercy. And that's why Ramananda is saying here that you especially came to actually purify me. And so that is his greatness. He was already so great soul, but still he thinks himself, So as a devotee, we should preach to everybody, not discriminating. And whosoever is taking, we should preach them more and more, give them book so they can follow, invite them in the temple again. So this should be normal approach. But if they are Krishna conscious or get Vaishnava Prabhupada, then they will definitely become devotees. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else? Otherwise, we can stop here. It's 9 o'clock already. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu patitan
Nam Pavane
Vaishnavebhyo
Namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Shripad ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Krishna, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Let me stop.